Hello guys, my name is Washington, for who that doesn't know me, and I have this channel for a while, and I used to talk about lots of things, but mostly Blender, and I started talking about Blender and 3ds Max, but eventually I was getting more interested in Blender and talking about new things in Blender and things like that. And also because I stopped to use 3ds Max for a while already, and now I'm using Houdini. I'm also I'm studying Houdini, and I decided that I would be talking about Houdini as well in Blender and comparing both, right? Anyways, it's important, and I wish you guys to know that from now on I'm not gonna be editing my thumbnails, my videos anymore. Okay, it's gonna be what it is. Okay, whatever is coming out of the videos, that's how it's gonna look like in YouTube, and with just the title, and that's it. The reason for that is because I was keeping away from doing videos because it was taking too much time and effort for me to do thumbnails and think about that and how it would look nice and things like that. And the reality is I'm not living from YouTube. I don't make money from YouTube, nothing, and that's not my goal. Okay, I work 8 hours a day, and I also do lots of things, my products and all the things that I'm developing in 3D. And when I have a free time, I want to relax. And this channel started as a way for me to relax and talk with a community about whatever I think it's interesting in 3D, and also to exercise my English, which I'm not doing frequently because I'm not doing that many videos anymore, just because of the effort. So from now on, I'm not gonna be editing it. I'm going back to the past. Okay, so I'm gonna just do my videos, just talk about something, post it there, put the title, and people can watch it. Okay, so do not expect it from me fancy animations or thumbnails or nothing to grab your attention, because that's not my point, and that was taking too much energy from me. So from now on, it's gonna be like this, and it's gonna be relaxed, and in celebration to that, let's drink this wine. Ooh, amazing. Anyways, Houdini and Blender. That's how it's gonna be, eh? Today we're going to be talking about how to visualize attributes, and you may think, why I want to know how to visualize attributes? Because sometimes it's important. If you have noise, texture, and you want to visualize in your geometry how the noise texture is going on, you have to see somehow. Okay, and in Houdini everything is very straightforward, and I'm gonna show you how. This is Houdini. Okay, first let's create a geometry. That's the very basic. Everything in Houdini is creating a geometry in nodes. Okay, and then you go inside and create a grid. Grid, here you go, grid. Okay, this is 10 meters and 10 meters, by the way. Okay, the unity is meter in Houdini, right? Unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, Houdini guys, fix me. Okay, but I think I'm right. Let's put 200 in subdivision, because we want to see how the noise attribute will look like, because it's based on a point. If we don't have that much points, we can't see that much. Okay, so let's create a noise attribute. So in Houdini, how you can see this noise attribute? It's very straightforward, because in Houdini everything to see the node or the chain node until that moment is just you pressing the node in here. Okay, if you press it in here, you can see the noise attribute. Okay, it's colored because the attribute is CD, attribute name is CD, is a color attribute, and you have a vector. You can put any name, right? If you put here, for example, Thundercats, okay, Thundercats, you are not seeing that because it's trying to take from the vectors, okay, and then you change it to points, and you change it to floats, and you do see because it's not taking the attributes, not taking the color. Okay, the way I would fix this would be creating an attribute before this. Okay, and I'm not gonna do that now because it's gonna take extra minutes from this video, and that's not the point. Let's go back to color. Okay, CD, so we can see how it goes. Okay, that's how you visualize that in Houdini. But in Blender, how can you do that? Okay, if we have, let's create a geometry nodes, a plane. Okay, and we have our geometry nodes tab here. Let's create new geometry nodes with this guy. Remove it. I don't want this plane. I just want a grid, just like Houdini. Here we go. But here we're gonna put 10 meters as well, so we kind of mimic what we have there, and 200 for the room. Okay, if you see here, oh, by the way, I'm using Blender 4.3, and Blender 4.3, the pie menus has changed for the better, and it can be some tricky for to get used to, but as soon as you start to play around with and do your own setups, you feel that it's gonna be nice. Because, for example, in this case, I want to see this guy as a wireframe. Okay, what I can do is go here and turn it on the wireframe, or from here the wireframe, and we can see. Okay, but I also can go here into our object and see as a wire, okay, or as a solid. But yeah, that's not there's no the options to see the wireframe here, but in Blender 4.3 pie menu you have this Shift W, and then you have the option here, so you see the wireframe. You may think, oh, that's the this wireframe, which is not, my friend. That's something like 3D, something that 3D Max has a long time ago, which is the possibility to see the wireframe just for that object. Okay, you see the shade in the wireframe for that object, right? So that's something that 3D Max has a long time ago, and Blender doesn't have. This is different from this because this is the entire wireframe. So you see the wireframe from the box as well. It's not like this, what I'm talking about. And if I want to see, for example, let's subdivide this guy. Okay, if I want to see the wireframe, I'm going out of my topic, right? But that's very important. If I want to see my wireframe here, okay, I just go to Shift W and wireframe. And if I don't want to see from this guy, Shift W, wireframe again. So I'm just having the wireframe on this box, and this is sweet. It's amazing. It means that Blender is getting all the options that you have there and gradually implementing into the software, and it's getting huge. Okay, so let's delete this guy. That's not the topic. Go back, Washington, to the topic. Here we go. How we can see the noise. Let's first add a noise texture. Okay, in Houdini I have to put this in the chain because this chain is applying the attribute to this grid, right? But in Blender that's different, okay, because you are going to be using this for something else in the future. Okay, you are going to be using this as an attribute for something that's going to be in the chain. You can't connect your grid to your noise texture. So how you can see the colors of this? So you're going to use Ctrl Shift and click on top of your geometry. Okay, for example, the grid here, and you have this little value here which means the visualization. Okay, so now you can visualize how this noise is gonna be applied to this geometry. Okay, the same thing, for example, if you add a sphere, UV sphere, and you apply this sphere here, you now are seeing how the noise is applied to this sphere. Okay, the same thing. Okay, it's easy to understand. It is. Let's bring our scale down, something like this. Okay, so that's how you visualize. But you may ask, okay, but in Houdini I can change it to vector and then I can see the colors of it. Okay, the colors of it. How can I see the colors of it in Blender? Right, okay. The reason you are not seeing that is because in the node, press N, so you can see here, in the node tab, which is related to any node here, if you press the node, you have the properties here, okay? Node. So in here, you are using float. So float is black and white, okay? It's some number from it's some number. It's not a color. It's not a vector property. To see that as a color, you may go and press it here. So now you are seeing just like Houdini, okay? And that's it. That's how you visualize your attributes. How your attribute will be applied to your object. Okay? So I hope you guys like it. This is something that I thought, when I thought in Houdini for the very beginning, I was a bit broken my head trying to fix this, trying to figure out this in Blender, but then it's so simple, right? Actually, Blender is great. I like Blender and I like the way Blender is going, because you may think that Blender is trying to be similar to Houdini, but as far as I study Houdini and I understand Houdini, Blender is going through his own way. He's learning from Houdini. He's taking what matters, what Houdini, the nodes and the way it deals with attributes and with all the functions, and doing its own way. And sometimes they are similar, and sometimes they are different, but it doesn't mean that the Blender way is worse than Houdini. Of course, it's worse. It's way less. It's way smaller than Houdini, of course, because Houdini was built for node-based software. So everything is there, right, in Houdini. But in Blender, whatever Blender is doing, whatever Blender is catching up, is in some things Blender, in my opinion, are doing things in a simpler way, okay, in an easier way for some things, okay, some things that I am observing. I may be wrong because I'm a newbie in Houdini, but I will show you in the next video what I'm talking about. Okay, and I hope you guys like the video. If you like, subscribe, and don't remember, no thumbnails, no fancy stuff. It's just a video the way it is. That's how life works, and see you soon. Bye bye.